Welcome to the Movie Script, a brand new YouTube channel where you can find all the reviews, reactions, news, and commentary on all things movie related. My name is John, and I'd like to start my first video with a Mission Impossible Fallout review. I have seen the movie twice already, and let me tell you that this is, if not the best, one of the best Mission Impossible movies. And actually, let me know if you'd like to see a ranking video where I rank the Mission Impossible movies from worst to best. And I'd like to start off with the performances in this movie because the ladies just killed it in this movie. Rebecca Ferguson was back again, kicking ass and seductive as always. I I believe she was definitely the only reason she's not my favorite lady in this movie. It's because Vanessa Kirby was amazing. She completely stole the show. Every scene she was in, she would just steal all the attention. She was beautiful, she was seductive, she was powerful, and it was glorious. I really hope they bring her back if they make a sequel. Which, let's be honest, they probably will. If the movie does pretty well, I'm gonna do a. We're gonna talk about the box office on Monday. Once the numbers come in, the movie just came out today officially, so we'll see how it does at the box office. Angela Bassett too, who we last saw in Black Panther. She didn't have a lot of screen time, but she was good in all the scenes she was in. Her character actually had a little bit of a back and forth type of arc where she was like, at one point you thought she was the enemy, but she wasn't really. But at the end of the day, she ended up believing in Ethan and helps him out at the end. So she was really good too. And then Michelle Monaghan, who returns as Julia, Ethan's wife from Mission Impossible 3, who was actually in a small cameo in Ghost Protocol, but she wasn't credited for it. But she was at the end in a little few seconds. If I remember correctly, I think Ethan was like checking on her, so like he saw her in the distance, but she didn't actually see him. So their reunion in this movie was pretty interesting, to say the least. She's now married again, so she had to move on, so she moved on. She actually helps out, she helps out the crew at the end to defuse one of the bombs. They have to defuse two bombs at the end. And Simon Pegg was funny and clever as always. Ving Rhames comes back as Luther. He was actually key in the plot because at the beginning of the movie, Ethan is given a mission, and the mission is to recover plutonium. And when he's about to recover it, they get Luther and they tell him like it's either him or the plutonium. So Ethan tries to save him, and because of that, they take the plutonium. So that literally kickstarts the entire plot of the movie. So it was a pretty big. But the movie was really about you know caring about somebody's life. Not just the bigger picture. And Henry Cavill plays August Walker, who is the villain, and he was actually really good. I was impressed with Henry Cavill's performance. This was the infamous mustache character that they didn't let him shave off for Justice League reshoots, but he was really good. Him and Tom Cruise had a crazy fight, like 2-on-1 fight, like the two of them versus one guy in a bathroom, and it was really cool. They were getting their asses handed to them though until Rebecca Ferguson stepped in and stopped the fight. Now let's talk about a couple of firsts for this franchise. The first one is Sean Harris being the first villain to return for a sequel. He was the villain in Rogue Nation, and he comes back as the villain in this movie too. Well, a secondary villain because Henry Cavill was like the main villain, I guess. Sean Harris was the mastermind, and Henry Cavill was more like the muscle. And the second one is Christopher McQuarrie, who is the first one to direct two movies in this franchise. This was actually the third time, though, that he directs Tom Cruise, because he directed him in Jack Reacher back in 2012. And now, speaking of Tom Cruise, he did it again. I don't know how he always does it, but he delivers a great performance every time. Like the fact that when you know the fact that he does all his stunts, it just makes it even more impressive. Like when he was like hanging off the helicopter, and I read that he actually learned how to fly the helicopter. Well, I think he had his license for a year or so, he said in an interview. and he was the only one in the helicopter. He was controlling the camera, so props to Tom Cruise for all that. That was really good on him. And the soundtrack of the movie was very fitting. There were a couple of tension building moments where there was a drum playing in the background. There were drums in the background, and I love that. I love scenes where there's like a subtle drum playing in the background. Like it's not loud, but it's loud enough so you can hear it. And it's like building up to something. So that was really good. And of course, the Mission Impossible theme song kicked in a couple times. And that was pretty cool too. And there were some twists and turns in the movie. I would say some of them were easy to see them coming. Like you could tell what was gonna happen. But there were actually a couple of them that were pretty cool. Like I actually the way they set them up is kind of like they try to trick you so that you don't see them coming. But you might still see them coming. Regardless, they were pretty good. Now, of course, this is an action spy movie, so let's talk about the action. There were about, I want to say, about 5 or 6 set pieces in total, and they were all amazing. If I would have to pick a favorite, it would definitely be the motorcycle chase in Paris and the helicopter chase at the end of the movie. I actually don't remember exactly the name of the location where they were, but that helicopter chase was crazy, and the motorcycle chase too. I also love the part where Tom Cruise is like, he's jumping rooftops just to get to Henry Cavill way faster, and it's just crazy. Like he actually broke his ankle doing one of those jumps across that from building to buildings, but that was pretty cool. Alec Baldwin is back too, as their boss, as the shit. I forgot the name of the the Mission Impossible task, the IMF I think it's called, Impossible Mission Force. Yes, the IMF. He's back. Jeremy Renner, who was in the last two, he's not in. He was not in this one. He was in Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation. He's not in this one. They didn't even mention his character. I don't think they did. But the movie was good. Yeah, like honestly, because James Bond hasn't been delivering, like Skyfall was a great movie, but it's like hit or miss. I love Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace didn't hold up. Skyfall was great, and then what was the last one? I forgot the name of the last one, but the last one wasn't that good either. And so I think that Mission Impossible with the last two movies takes the cake as the best spy action franchise. Like it was really good. I would say that Mission Impossible 6 or Mission Impossible Fallout, as is known, um, and John Wick are actually like my two favorite action movies in the recent years. Let me know what you guys think about that statement. Like, what are your favorite action movies in the past 2-3 years? And once you see the movie, let me know what you thought of the movie. Um, I can't think of them not making a sequel. Like, they're obviously like oh yeah, because Vanessa Kirby's character, she was actually she was working for MI6. The British, I guess the British version of the IMF. So she was working for MI6. So I think they left it open so that there'll be more stuff involving her character. But we'll see what happens. I don't know how they can top this one though, because they did everything in here. Like it was pretty crazy. But I love the action. I love the music. I love the actors and actresses. They were all amazing. Like I said, the ladies like stole the show. Like I was crushing throughout the entire movie. Like they were all amazing. And that's pretty much about it. If I had to give it a score, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it was really good. It wasn't perfect, but it was really good. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. The tension was building for a lot of moments. There's a moment near the end where you think Simon Pegg, Benji might actually die, but of course, for the second time in the movie, actually for the third time in the movie, Rebecca Ferguson saves his life. Not the third time she saved his life, but the third time she saved somebody in the movie. So it was pretty good. But anyways, that'll be it for my Ghost uh, Ghost. I almost said Ghost Protocol for my Mission Impossible Fallout review. And let me know in the comments down below what you think. Once you see the movie, let me know if you liked it. Do you think it's the best Mission Impossible, or where do you think it holds up? As far as a Mission Impossible movie. And what about my statement that this and John Wick are like the best action, franchises currently? I'm trying to think of another one, but I can't really think of another one right now. So please subscribe to the channel for more movie stuff and leave a like if you like the video. And I'll see you guys on the next one.